Help video factoring when a is greater than 1. Alright, so pretty much when we factor these quadratic functions, we need to use our x method and our box method for the xbox method. Only when a is greater than 1. So first let's denote our a, b, and c. So a is 3, b is 22, and here's our c value, 24. So when you guys factor, you still use your guys' x method. So a times c up top, b on the bottom. A times c is 3 times 24 for 72, and your b value is 22. Now this is the part where you guys have to think what two numbers multiply to give you 72, but when added gives you 22. So if this helps you guys, you should, until you guys get used to it, you guys should make your guys' factors list of 72, so that it will help you guys to see it more clearly. So here's all the factors of 72. Now, from all of these factors, which two will add up to 22? And the answer is 4 and 18. So 4 and 18. Now, since a is greater than 1, right? 3 is greater than 1. This means we have to use our xbox method. If a was equal to 1, then we would just know that these are our factors. But since a is greater than 1, that means we have to use our xbox method. So let's write our box. Our first term goes in the top left, which is 3x squared. Our last term, which is 24, goes in the bottom right. And our two other boxes are filled in by the two numbers we found, but with x variables. So it doesn't matter where you guys put it, so I'm going to put 4x there, and I'll put 18x there. Doesn't matter where you guys put it. Now, we have to factor out from the columns and from each row in order to find our factors of this quadratic function. So for this column, look at the numbers, 18 and 24. What is the greatest common factor you guys can do from there? So what number was the biggest number that goes into both 18 and 24? And the answer is 6. What about here? Now look at the coefficients first, the numbers, then look at the variables. There is nothing besides 1 that could go into 3 and 4. But what about the variables? You can certainly see that x goes into both. So you can take away an x from both of those. So just 1x. Now let's look at the row. Look at the coefficients first, 3 and 18. What can go into both 3 and 18? The biggest number, 3. And look at the variables. They both have an x, so we can factor out an x as well. And then we got this row, you guys. So look at the numbers, 4 and 24. What can go into both 4 and 24? 4, so we can factor out a 4. And there's our factor, you guys. 3x plus 4 times x plus 6. Okay, number 2. So a is equal to 2, this is in standard form, b is equal to 19, and c is equal to 35. So, x method, a times c up top, b on the bottom. A times c is 2 times 35, which is 70, and b is 19. So let's make our factors list, 1 and 70, 2 and 35, 5 and 14, and 7 and 10. So what two numbers multiply to 70, but when you guys add them, gives you 19. That looks to be 5 and 14. Now again, since a is greater than 1, you know you have to do the xbox method. So let's write our box. Top left-hand corner, you guys, is the first term, which is 2x to the second. Bottom right, you guys, is our last term, which is 35. And we fill in these, you guys, with the two numbers we found, which are 5 and 14. Again, it does not matter where you guys put them, and remember to add an x variable. Because remember, these, you guys, is going to add up to the middle term. 14x plus 5x is 19x. Alright? So let's factor our columns and our rows. The greatest common factor for our columns and our rows. So here's 14x, you guys. So look at the coefficients. What is the biggest number that goes into 14 and 35? And that is 7. Right here, so nothing can go into 2 and 5 evenly except for 1, but when you guys look at your variables, x squared and x, you can certainly pull out an x from both. Look at the row, 2 and 14, you can factor out a 2, and x squared and x, you guys, you can pull out in x. And right here, you guys, the coefficients, 5 and 35, the biggest number you guys can pull out from there is 5. So there's our factors, you guys. 2x plus 5 times x plus 7. And that is how you guys factor when a is greater than 1.